vodka. Change for us all. Isn't it restart?
Big move in Bitcoin then, in contrast to all the notes I wrote pre-show, which were telling me that this was going to put Bitcoin under pressure.
The narrative that perhaps this launch of these political meme coins will sap flows from Bitcoin is showing us that it's really not the case this morning. If anything, it's just accelerated the momentum and the excitement around cryptocurrency under another Trump administration.
Hi, Dewald. What is all this FOMO about? Should I buy Bitcoin now?
Are you smoking your socks? You should rather watch my show. You should rather watch my show.
All right, legends, hope you all had a fantastic day. Let me just put the music there in the background. Let's start with a little bit of technical analysis. Are you guys feeling bullish? Are you feeling bearish? Is the worst over? Can we expect a little bit of a bounce? Well, you know, the answers lie in this little small structure. This little teeny weeny structure over here, that's where most of the answers lie. Are we going to continue to the downside? Maybe continue to the upside? Right, we will analyze the price action here on the smaller time frames. But since it's Monday, I just want to do a little bit of technical analysis on the larger structure here on the 1 hour time frame. Right, legends, if you haven't done so already, remember to smash up that like button on your way in. And let's get the party on the road. Also, let me say hi to the community. I see you guys are pumping the questions. And right, let's get started. Let's go all the way here to the tippy top. Hi, Arena. Welcome to the live stream. Always great to see you here, Mr. Crypto Big Brains. Mods in the house. Much love. And oh, we will have a sexy person here in the live stream as well. Okay, hello and welcome, sexy person. Right, Rakesh. Sorry, that comment. Dewald, hello. Welcome to the live stream. Happy to hear you again. Morning, Mr. MK Alexander. Welcome. For some of you, it might be morning. For some of you, it's afternoon. For some of you, it's evenings. For some of you, you can't sleep and you are watching me in the early hours of the morning, right? We will get to the technical analysis in a moment. Just having a quick smoke of socks and I'll be ready. Right, let's go. Quick smoke of socks. Dewald, Lucas. Dewald, where have you been? I have been live every single day, but I took, I take sometimes on weekends, I take a little bit of a break. Okay. There was a couple of trading scenarios that I did highlight yesterday, which I actually think played out beautifully if you did take profits to the upside. And I am still in a long. And I did take some profits here to the upside, guys. I'm still in a long and I will share exactly where I took this long. Right. I went long. What was this? Entry price 103,195. 103,195. Like literally nailed it. That is where I took a little bit of a long, and now it looks like it's going to stop me out. But I did pay myself on the way up. So at least if I get stopped out, I get stopped out with profits. Okay, so I will get to that in a moment, okay? There's an interesting scenario that I am keeping in mind looking at this little structure over here. Still a very interesting scenario. And I will get to that alpha in a moment. Okay, right. Goeiemiddag vanuit Zwolle. Bert, goeiedag, welkom. Let's go. Legends Dewald is pulling up his limo right now. Right, Legends, let's get into the alpha. Damn, dominance not wanna drop. Yes, I mean, dominance is absolutely killing the altcoins here at the moment. But let's start with the technical analysis. This is the reason why we all here. So Legends, I mean, I'm gonna keep it very simple here on the higher time frame. Okay, this is the low, right? You can see the low of the structure, and for now this is the high of the structure. If this is the final high and all of this is part of a corrective structure, something very interesting that I always take note of is time. Okay, so from a timing perspective, take a time fib from the low to the high of the structure, right over there. So from a timing perspective, we have to speculate if this is the local top for this impulse. If this is the top, it's not time yet for the correction to be done. Okay, just have to put it out there. It's not time yet, unless we get another wave to the upside, and then this becomes, and then this becomes the entire wave. Okay, so maybe there's a chance for still one more high, right? And then we start the corrective structure. But based on the information, okay, we can speculate one more high, one more low, one more zigzag, one more ABC, one more W, okay? Based on the information that I have in front of me today, I can see an impulse to the upside. And I'm not going to go and count it in detail at the moment, but there's a big chance that this is a 5-wave structure that has come to an end. And if this is the start of the corrective structure, it is not time yet to just move up impulsively to $120,000, $130,000. This structure still has to correct itself up until, for now, based on the data that we have today, okay, the 9th of June. At least up until the 9th of June, because it can go to the 0.618 and even the 1-to-1 extension. Okay, so if your analysis is telling you that this is the top and the structure needs to start correcting itself, what I am telling you today is it's not time. It needs more time. This cannot be the low, right? And it doesn't mean that you can't claim the high in a corrective structure, because from a simplicity perspective, okay, I can take all of this as an A here to the downside. You go make a B flat, and then you go down for a C. And then all of this is part of your corrective structure. ABC flat, because we know corrective structures can take the highs. It's allowed to. But you could get a corrective structure like this, a normal little zigzag to the downside. We don't know where this B wave is going to go. But if we are busy with a corrective structure from this point, okay, it would make sense to have a larger corrective structure that finishes after the 9th of June. Once price is past this line, regardless of what it does over here, and it's still ranging in this zone, but from a timing perspective, it's past the 0.382. It starts claiming the 0.618. So let's play it out. From a timing perspective, if price is still stuffing around up here after the 0.618, there's a good chance that you are going to continue back to the upside, because then you will significantly reduce the probabilities of coming to claim this low, especially if price is still dancing around here at the upper levels. Okay, so for me, from a swing trade perspective, it's not time yet. Keep on saying that. It's not time yet. I'm going to be very, 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 very patient for a swing trade. And what's going to be most important for me is time. Okay, Right, legends. B wave, okay, you will clearly be able to see, well, do you form a 3-wave structure to the upside, even if it claims the high? If this forms a 3-wave structure to the upside, it claims the high, I know that it's part of a corrective structure, and I'm not going to move my time fib to the new high because I can see it's part of the corrective structure. If price moves up in a 5-wave structure, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then I will move my time fib, because maybe there's still one more high left in the structure. Okay, I need more data before I'll be able to change my analysis. Right, because my technical analysis is based on the information that I see in front of me right now. And right now, if this is the top, it's not time yet. Is not time. Right, legends. So there's a good chance that we are, because for now, okay, we're going to analyze the structure here to the downside. We're going to look at the local structure here on the smaller time frame. And I think that is what most people are most interested in, is what is happening here more locally. Can we take those little scalps to the upside or to the downside? Right, legends. So now let me take the time out the way. Take the corrective structure out the way. Now let's go to the 15-minute time frame and look at the structure. I might want to go to the 30-minute because there's something else I want to show everyone. Okay. I'm not sure if I spoke about this on Friday, but I know I did tell the pro community about a potential harmonic pattern. There we go. There is a potential harmonic pattern which has not yet been invalidated. And because of this harmonic pattern, this is why I jumped into a long right over there. You might be asking, well, how did you nail that long? Well, it is very simple, because you get two types of harmonics, or you get a couple of, but the ones that play out the most on Bitcoin is the BAT and the Gartley pattern. They are both families of the harmonic patterns, and based on the BAT and the Gartley, I jumped into a long right over here, because the first one that I was looking at is to say that, well, you need to take a fib. Okay, let me just take this out the way. For an harmonic, you take a fib from this low to the high. And where did price bounce? Well, you guessed it. Price bounced exactly at the 0.88. So that is a BAT harmonic target. Where you retrace, where you make your first leg up, okay, your retracement taps the 50% Fibonacci, and then your last wave down touches the 0.88, and that is what we refer to as a BAT harmonic pattern. Okay, it's all just got to do with Fibonacci levels at the end of the day, and I can show you guys over, was it this one? Not that one. Yeah, here we go. Here's the picture for the BAT. That's basically how it works. I know it's a little bit pixelated, but you should still be able to make it out. So you basically, your A wave, okay, so you take your fib from the low to the high of A, which I did over there, and then that should be between 0.382 and 0.88. So we can double check it now here together. Remember, they are never perfect, but you want to get them as close as possible. So let me make it a little bit smaller and show everyone how I measure out these harmonic patterns. Where did I save that harmonic now? Okay, right, let's do it fresh. So here on your third little tool over here, you will see it says XABZD CD, right? You select that little one. Your first click is at the low. Your second click is at the high. Okay, then at the low of the structure again, then at the high of the structure again, and then at the low of the structure again. And then you can see you have your little harmonic pattern, your BAT pattern. And now I'm checking if my levels falls within these ranges. So there it says 0.777. Here it says it can be between 0.382 and 0.886. Okay, smack, nicely there in the middle. Then this wave here to the upside needs to be between 0.382 to 0.5, close enough. 0.55, very close enough. Okay, this little leg over here, 1.818, it needs to be between 1.618 and 2.618, perfect. Nice. Right. And then your Fibonacci ratio between these two legs, 0.886, and it says 0.897. So it's close. It's never perfect. You will never, ever get a perfect harmonic pattern, but it's awfully close. Right. So there is your bat pattern. How I trade these patterns is simple. Okay. I take this fib out. Now that I've got the pattern, you take a Fibonacci retracement from C to D, you drag it across, and your most common profit-taking area for these patterns is the golden pocket. There's your profit-taking area. That is how you trade it. And then this becomes TP1. Guys, smash up the like button for the education. This is always a TP1, and this is where you take majority of your profits. This is a TP1, big TP1 over here. This becomes TP2, your C point, and then you leave some of the moon bag open for your A point. That becomes TP3. So TP1, TP2, TP3, you're out. And this is how you trade harmonic patterns. You see them everywhere. 1 minute time frame, 5 minute time frame, daily time frame, week. You find them everywhere. Obviously, the higher the time frame, the longer they take to play out, but also the more accurate they become. Right. Oh, sorry, legends. I see I have lost my face over here on the camera. Let me just see if I can fix it. Let me see if I can fix it. Sorry, legends. I see I have lost my face here on the camera. Doesn't look like I'm going to get it back right now, legends. So what I'm going to do... Oh, wait, here we go. Oh, am I back? Am I back? Here we go. Right. There we go. I'm back. Open the door. Dewald's camera is playing socks. Sorry, legends. I didn't notice that my camera faded over there. I'm not sure why it does that. You know, I've got two cameras here, and this one camera, which is the better camera, often starts freezing for some reason, and now it's back again. Okay, the lower quality one never freezes, but then it's lower quality on my face. Okay, right, let's go. But at least you guys can see the screen, and that is what's most important. So, you know, it's not my face that's important, it's the content that's important. Right, legends, so this is basically how you trade harmonic patterns. You get various harmonic patterns. You get the Gartley, you get the bat, you get, what else is there? The crab, but I like to trade the ones on Bitcoin that plays out the most often. And the two that plays out the most often is the bat and the Gartley. The Gartley plays out way more often. Okay, but the Gartley one finds support at the 786. It loves the 786, which I also love the 786 because it's a maximum bullish target, right? And now the fact that this one retraced all the way to the 0.88 increases the probabilities that this structure is going to take that low. So the bat is not really my favorite. There was also another reason why I jumped into this long. So part of the reason was based on the harmonic, beautiful, symmetrical harmonic pattern. It is very important that your wings have the same amount of time between them. So the time that it's taken to form this wing and the time that it's taken to form this wing, okay, the more symmetrical, the better. There was another harmonic that I was keeping an eye on. Okay, and it was basically very simple. I took this pivot over here because that is the lowest point of this entire structure. And very interestingly, when you take a fib from this little pivot to the high, guess where we bounced? 786. I don't particularly like this harmonic because of how long this wing is. It's out of balance. Okay, but it's not an invalidation as long as your D point surpassed the 0.382. So you take a timing fib from the low to the middle of the structure, okay, and the low needs to be made after the 0.382, which it did. So that's the minimum requirement. So one might say, yes, this looks very out of balance, these two wings. Look how long this wing is, look how short this wing is, but it still bounced. And it made the low after the 0.382. Right. So, in considering the larger harmonic, the Gartley that's playing out here, it will be perfectly fine if price Okay, let's play this out, because this harmonic could potentially still stay intact even if we take the low again, which will actually be better for the structure. So let's play this out. Let's say price falls here, it takes the low and it gets acceptance back above. Now that looks sexy. Now that looks really sexy, but it needs to hold the 786. I don't want it to come and tap the 0.886 over here. It needs to hold this level. So it's perfectly fine if it still claims the low, which will actually be better, because then you are making this low after the 0.618. So the more symmetrical the wings are, the better the probabilities for these harmonics to play out. So, legends, a little bit of a different live stream. I don't often talk about harmonic patterns, but now you know. Now you know how to trade harmonics. Okay, right, legends. Buffery shark, deep crab. Yes, butterfly. Oh, there's the butterfly, there's the shark, there's the deep crab. I know there's plenty. There are plenty of harmonics out there, but I also know that some people or some traders specialize in harmonic patterns. It's all they trade. They only trade harmonic patterns because you get such a big variety of them. You know, you get ones where the C wave is higher. Okay, you get ones where the C wave is lower. You get a variety of them. I just trade the basics. I love the godly and the bat is the two that I've seen play out the most. Right, cool. So now looking at the structure, okay, which brings me to my first longing opportunity. So without going into Elliott wave theory or keeping it overly complex over here, if price comes down to this low and it starts getting acceptance back above, that, ladies and gentlemen, is a long trade for me. It makes sense from an harmonic perspective, okay? And it also makes sense from a structural perspective over here, from an Elliott wave perspective. So I'm trying to get the planets to align to say that, well, if we do take the low, is there a chance? Is there a chance to come and take this high again? Or at least this pivot over here, you know, but you want to see a significant bounce here to the upside to at least this little green box that I have highlighted. Okay, the 0.618. So the probability is, well, yes, if price falls down, it gets acceptance back above, then I can also count the structure as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After a 5-wave structure to the downside from an Elliott wave perspective, you expect a 3-wave corrective structure. Interesting, right? Because now you have the harmonic and you have a potential 5-wave structure that is coming to an end. So you expect a larger relief rally back to the upside. Okay. Right, legends, there's a chance that we do not claim this low. And then it's the bat that I've just highlighted to everyone. The little bat. I should have actually put the bat picture on my thumbnail. I forgot to do that, right? Then it's this one over here. Right, you tap the 0.88. Makes perfect sense. Bat is playing out to perfection over here if we do not take the low. And this is why I am still in this trade. Okay, this is why I'm still in this trade. And this is why I'm not chickening out of this trade, because I know that the market is here to surprise us. What if I'm waiting for the low over here and it doesn't come? What if I'm waiting for this low and it just consolidates here and it goes to my target box where I want to close my position? I'm planning just to close my position there. I'm not going to be greedy, right? That's quite a significant move for me here to the upside. So I am not cashing out this trade just as yet, knowing full well that this could, there's a chance that this could be the low for now. And if it is not the low, well, I'm going to be paying attention. Once we do take the low, I'm going to be paying attention over here. Right, because then it could be the larger harmonic that's going to play out, which I prefer. It's a more bullish harmonic, because if we claim the low over here, okay, if we claim the low over here and we get acceptance back above and we do not tap the 0.88, well, that is a bullish That is a bullish bounce at a maximum target from a FIP retracement perspective. So you do increase the probabilities of claiming your C and even your A point. Okay. So ideally, I want to be stopped out because I want to sniper that little long here to the upside. Obviously, as long, guys, I just want to make it clear, right? I don't want people to go and just limit order the shit out of this zone, okay? And then tomorrow, price is over here, and people are like, but Dewald, you said no, okay? I'm saying, I'm saying the following: if price gets acceptance back above the low, as long as price is below my area of interest, I am not interested in a long. If price can get acceptance back above, then I am interested in the long. Okay, so no trade for me while price is at the bottom. I don't mind having risk management, okay? A little bit of risk management there to the downside to protect myself. Right, legends, so now let's come to the juicy part over here. Okay, now I want to dive into this little structure over here. Okay, this little structure is very interesting, and this is why I was here on the CVD to see, well, do I see signs of strength or do I see signs of weakness over here? Okay, we'll see how this plays out. Right, okay. Luckily my face is still here. I think we will claim that low. It would give the correct form on RSI divergence before reversing. Yes, yes. I would love for us to go and claim that low. Okay. Also, I see this little bit of weakness building up here on CVD, so it would be nice to just smack back down here and go and claim the damn low. Right? Yeah, I mean, massive bullish CVD building up, but there's some local bearish CVD. Okay. And most of these bullish CVD already played out. You claimed the high. You had bullish CVD against these two pivots. You claimed the high, so it played out. Then you had bullish CVD against these two pivots. The target was the high. You claimed the high. So most of the bullish CVD during this structure and the momentum to the upside has already played out, which makes it weaker. Okay, hi bro, Mr. HBBBA, welcome to the live stream, man. But Dewald, you said, hey, Miss Melanie, good morning, everyone all the way from Los Angeles. Welcome, welcome, Miss Melanie. Great to see you here on the live stream. Okay, right, legends. So now let's pay attention to this little zone. I've also told the Legends Pro community where price is at the moment is a very, very difficult zone to trade in. The only great short that I was looking at, okay, was this short over here. I think we missed it by $20 or $50 maybe, or $10. I missed the short because this is where I wanted to short. I missed it because I was waiting for my level to be tapped and I didn't pay attention to this little pivot. Damn. Okay, some you win, some you lose. Anyways, I would have now had an epic short here to the downside. But basically, it's as follow. Let me see if I have this mapped out. Okay, this was the scenario that I highlighted this morning. So let me take the box here out the way. Exactly. In the Legends Pro community, this was the scenario that I highlighted. And I said, guys, if we can tap the 0.5, okay, price was, where was price? I think price was over here when I highlighted the scenario. And I said, if we can tap the 50%, I want to short. I want to short because if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you come and claim the low, I want to be in the short. And I missed it because I was waiting for the 50% Fibonacci. And as you can see over here, I mean, look at that, right? How frustrating. But I had the right plan. Definitely had the right plan. This was the zone I wanted to short. And then we got a beautiful swing failure pattern from the local highs, front running my area that I wanted to short. And I was sitting and waiting. It's like, go, 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 go. And then it just turned around and it started falling here to the downside. I was like, okay, I'm not going to FOMO into trade. There'll be another trade around the corner. Okay. So I missed the short here to the downside. And there's definitely a high probability that it can come and claim the lows. Okay. Right, so legends, this is the possible scenario here to the downside, is that this could be the end of a corrective structure here to the downside, where let me do this. Okay, this could be your A, B, and now you are waiting for your C wave here to the downside. C waves are always 5-wave structures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it also has confluence with the harmonic pattern that I've shown you on the larger time frame. The 786 taken from this little pivot over here. Okay, so there's a couple of planets that align here in this zone. Okay, but I am only going to long the strength because I don't want to be caught off guard with limit orders over here and then I wake up tomorrow morning and prices all the way down here. Don't want to trade like that. Although I think the probabilities will be low for this. Okay, but the market is here to surprise us. I don't like to be a cowboy with my trading. Right, because I think worst case scenario, okay, looking at the structure here to the downside, let's play out worst case scenario. What is the worst thing that can happen over here? It's not an ABC, which I'm expecting to come to an end. It's part of a bigger impulse to the downside. This is 1. This was 2. We are still busy with 3. We still need to make another 4 and another 5. Okay, inside of your third wave, you need 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is what I'm saying, legends, even for me with the worst case scenario, I'm still expecting a bounce. Okay, so this is where the bullish and the bearish case scenario starts giving me directional bias. Okay. So worst case scenario, 1, 2, 3, I'm still expecting a bounce. You make a 4 and you go down then for another 5 wave, where all of this becomes a A wave. Then you start a B wave, then you start a C wave, and I mean this correction can last forever. Okay, we're just going to chop sideways, 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 sideways. Right. So for now, I do think that this scenario has lower probability than this scenario over here. 1, there we go. Right, I do think that this scenario has slightly higher probability than the one that I've just shown you guys. Okay, there we go. It really looks ABC-ish here to the downside. A, B, C. Okay. Right, now you might be asking yourself, well, Dewald, what if we do not take the low? What if we don't take the low? What is it then? What on earth is it then? It can't be an ABC because we don't have 5 waves to the downside to complete the C wave structure. Okay, can you guys see how I have to think about every single scenario that could possibly play out here? What if the low is protected? Okay, so let's take this out the way. Then the only scenario that I can think of is a WXY. Okay, so you basically have formed an A, B, C inside of your Y wave to the downside. You have an A, B, C, and W. You have a 3-wave structure in X, and now you have formed a 3-wave structure in a Y wave. So you have an A, B, C, 3-wave in X, and an A, B, C in Y. Then there's a chance that the low could be in. You have a 5, 3, 5-wave structure inside of your Y wave. Low is protected. The bat harmonic pattern is going to play out. It looks like we're going to take the low, and then just before we take the low, price starts turning around here back to the upside. Well, then it is a WXY. It's the only corrective structure that makes sense without taking the low. Right. Never easy in trading, nah? Never easy, legends. Never easy. Okay, remember to smash up that like button. And just want to see if I have it open over here. Still worse to come. Now that's the question. Very relevant, okay? Is it still going to be worse? Legends, down in the description, I've still got weeks over here. 20% money cash back with the money that you deposit in your featured account. So if you deposit $1,000, you get $200 to trade with for free. You have to leave your money in there for 3 days. Okay, you also get 25% discount on your trading fees. And then they have that $1 million event that's running at the moment where the most P&L wins a prize, the most volume traded wins a prize. You get to spin a wheel just for random prizes. There's lots of prizes up for grabs by registering with this link here on Weeks for new and existing users. Then I've got BTCC and Bluffin. Right. With Bluffin, you get 15% cash back, by the way. 15% cash back, and also the more you trade, the more money gets airdropped into your account. Okay, also your way to support the channel, and let's get back into the technical analysis. Okay, so legends, what I want to do now is I've now explained the structure. It can be a WXY. Okay, I would really like the low to be claimed because that's just what I want as a technical trader, right? I don't always get what I want, but now I have to go and analyze this little structure to say that, well, is it bullish or is it bearish? What is the probabilities of price not claiming this low and continuing to the upside, or is it just going to fall down and then, you know, all the scenarios that we've talked about now from a godly harmonic perspective is going to play out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, bam, we get acceptance back above. We've long this bad boy here to the upside. But what if? Okay, so now this is where it becomes really interesting. So let me go to the 15-minute time frame and look at this structure. It just looks like it wants to claim the low. But what if it doesn't? Okay. The only bullish case scenario, okay, remember, when you make a low, you have to count a 5-wave structure to the upside. If there's no 5-wave structure, you ain't continuing to the upside. Then you're going to come and claim this low again. The only way that I can count a 5-wave structure inside of this mess is a contracting diagonal. Okay, because an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that price action is not allowed to enter this price action. But here you can see very overlappy price action entering all, you know, all this, it's all over each other. So the only bullish case scenario that makes sense is a contracting diagonal or a double 1-2, but a double 1-2 has been invalidated. So it's the only bullish case scenario. Yeah, wait, before I say the only bullish case scenario, because there might be another one. Okay, so let me see if here we go. Right, so you have formed a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in wave 1. You have a 3-wave structure in wave 2. Beautiful. So far, it balances. I did have this structure a little bit differently drawn out, but when I went to count the structures on the smaller time frames, this is the only count that makes sense. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in wave 3. You have a 3-wave structure in wave 4. Beautiful. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in wave 5. This morning, the update that I shared with the Legends Pro community, you might remember that I had initially my wave 5 over there, but it doesn't make sense because this structure looks like a damn 3-wave structure, and you cannot end a 5-wave over here, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over here with a 3-wave structure. Not allowed. So this is the only way in which I can count a bullish structure. But now that you are looking at the structure, so what I'm now expecting is after your 5-wave structure is done, you expect an A, B, remember B is allowed to claim the high, perfectly normal, it's a B flat, and your C wave here to the downside, which tapped the maximum target, the 786. Pro members, if you're watching this live stream, please don't give it away. What is the problem with this structure? Can you spot the problem? Big problem. There's a big problem with this structure. Can you spot it? Because it's on the screen. Let me know in the comments. Can you spot the problem? I want to see if you guys have been paying attention in class. There's a big problem. I'm going to wait for the comment to come in. Right, retracement timer. Yes, time, Sockman. Yeah, you guys are paying attention in class. Right, there's your problem. Great, I like it. Time. Yes, I love it when people pay attention in class. This is a problem, ladies and gentlemen, because after an impulse, okay, you cannot make a low over here and expect this to be the low that's just going to continue to the upside. There's a problem. It needs to continue sideways. So if, okay, this is now maybe something that could play out. If it chops sideways over here until it reaches 0.382, maybe it grabs that bottom again and then it rampages to the upside, well, that makes sense. But yeah, I'm not saying that it can't happen, it's just very rare. Okay, because it's all just a game of probabilities at the end of the day. So for this to be an impulse and for this to be the end is a problem. Okay, there's 3rd of June. We are now at 2nd of June. So we're a day too early for this corrective structure to have come to an end. Okay. Now, knowing myself, I went and I said, well, what if there is another way to count this? Maybe this is not an impulse. Maybe all of this is still part of a larger corrective structure to the upside, which means it's allowed to make a low over here. Okay, so this is the following scenario. Let me switch this off. So basically, guys, for this to be a 5-wave structure and for this to be the end of the 3-wave structure, low probability. Is it impossible? No. Does it carry high probability? Not in the least. It's a very low probability. You would have at least expected a larger corrective structure to at least finish after the 0.382. And if price had to go sideways over here after this target, this is where I switch bullish. Because when you start retracing after minimum time requirements and you still have not taken the low, now that becomes bullish. Okay, so the only other bullish case scenario that I can think of where we don't have to claim the low is this one. Right, so there's a chance for the bulls, and I mean it can still get very punchy here to the upside. Okay, you might be asking yourself, Dewald, well, it would be nice if we can just fall now, just fall and take the low, so I don't even have to go through this scenario. Just take the damn low. Right, legends, but I mean, until we've taken the low, I have to talk about this scenario, right? Where you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in an A wave. Beautiful. You have a 3-wave corrective structure in a B. Beautiful. And then you have a C wave here to the upside. And this 1, 2, 3 equals a A wave. And this mess that we have formed here to the downside, A, B, C, is a B wave, a 3-wave structure. And you could potentially, or the price could potentially still move up here in a C wave in a larger A, B, C, because only then is time not a problem. Because this is not one structure, this is multiple, this is an A, B, C structure, and each structure has its own correction, which then makes sense. So never easy, right, legends? Never easy. It would just be nice to go and claim the damn low, right? But I also know that the market makers don't always make it very easy. So, you know, a couple of ways to trade these scenarios, and this is why I told the legends, price is in a very difficult spot. You know, there's the traders that's just saying, come and claim the damn low, right? I want to jump into that long. And then there are the traders that says, I don't think it's going to claim the low. I think it's going to front run this low. Maybe it falls down here. It looks like it's going to claim it. And then it starts building impulses here back to the upside. Right? So there's only 2 ways in which you can trade this. Right? You either wait for the lows to be claimed. Okay? You play the strength back above the level like we've explained here on the live stream. Or you say, this is my trade. I'm claiming that I'm gunning for that $108,000, $107,000 area. I'm putting my stop here below the lows. This is my trade. I don't think it's going to claim the lows. Right, it's quite a big stop loss. It's a zero. Well, it's not really big. It's a 0.98% stop loss. So even 1% of your capital at 80, 90x leverage, you won't get liquidated on your position. Completely up to you. Okay, I am already in a long. And I'm so glad I took this long, because now I don't have to stress about this risk management, because I have a protected position over here. So I'm already in the long. If I get stopped out, then you know which long I'm going to be looking for. If I don't get stopped out, then I know where to take profits. Right, but there is potentially another way to jump into this trade. You build a position over here, you don't claim the low, price turns around, and it goes up for the C wave. I can unfortunately not give you any financial advice. I'm just here, the dude, trying to entertain you here on the channel. At the end of the day, you need to decide what technical analysis suits, or what risk you're willing to take here. Are you going to risk it to get the biscuit, or are you just going to say, I'm going to wait until a high probable scenario plays out over here? Because this is a bullish case scenario, which is actually still bearish, because the way that I explained this to the pro community just before I came onto the live stream is to say that, you know, this is the difference, guys. This is the difference. If this is a 5-wave structure, okay, let me take this out and put that other one back. The biggest difference is, if this is, let's just say this is a valid 5-wave structure. You go back down for a 3-wave structure, and now you continue to the upside. There's a big difference, because if you have a 1, a 2, you go up for a 3, it means that you're still going to form a 4 and another 5 to the upside. So you have an extra leg to the upside, which then also means that you have a high potential to form a higher low and continuing momentum to the upside. So this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, and it continues to the upside. Okay, because you might be asking yourself, Dewald, but how is the bearish case scenario still bullish? Okay, because it's bullish in the short term. So if it's not this one, which I think carries low probability, like I've explained, and it is now this one, the main difference is when you have an A, B, C, high chance of falling down and claiming the low. This is the difference. There's no 4, 5. It's just A, B, C, you fall. Claim the lows again. That's the difference. If you move up correctively, it means that you are correcting this structure to the upside, and you're going to come and claim the lows at some point again. If you form a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then you increase the probabilities that the low is protected, and you could form a higher low and continue momentum to the upside. Even go and claim, you know, the $111,000, $110,000 area again. That's the difference. Okay. I just want to see what CVD is doing over here. Is not bullish, guys. It's not bullish. So it would be nice if we, you know, if we can just go and claim the damn low. That would make my heart happy. Right. Let's see how it continues here to the downside. Right, there was actually, guys, there was actually a trade that I jumped into right before the live stream. Okay, I don't want to share it because, but anyways, it looks like it's playing out. But I want to explain why I got into this trade. Okay, I want to explain why I got into this trade. I shorted, just before the live stream, I shorted over here. And I wanted it to play out to see, you know, to explain to you why I jumped into the short. Okay, firstly, important is my position was protected. Okay, as we fell down here, I protected my position. So now it's a free trade. I don't care if I get stopped out. It's a free trade. The reason I jumped in over here is because of this. I saw a 5-wave structure to the downside. Right. Look at this. Okay, this is what I saw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which tells me that there's a high chance in making a lower high and continuing momentum to the downside. So when I saw this, okay, the first thing I do is you take a fib retracement and you see how high it went. Okay, you take a fib from the high to the low, and if you don't tap the 0.88, okay, look at where we got rejected at the 786. Right, this is where I jumped into the short, and right, I was actually a little bit higher. I managed to catch it a little bit higher. I protected my position. It came back for a retest, and now it's continuing momentum here to the downside. As soon as we claim these lows, I will start taking some profits. Okay, but it's a free trade for me now at the end of the day. So, you know, I just want to explain to everyone the power of 3-wave structures versus 5-wave structures. When I see 5 waves to the downside, it increases probabilities that you are going to have a 3-wave corrective structure and continue momentum to the downside. So I now have a teeny, it's a small position, it's not a big position. I was just doing it for the fun of it, right? Protected position on Bluffin. I think I took the trade on Bluffin. Right, but yeah, you can see, you can sniper these smaller time frames. Yeah, I was stuffing around here on the 1 minute time frame because just before the live stream, I was watching this structure over here. Price was here. Just before the live stream, price was over here. Okay, while I was preparing the thumbnail and stuff, and then price moved up, and I was like, ooh, okay, that's interesting. Okay, if price moves up, because now this becomes a longing opportunity. If price starts moving up here, okay, not take this low, because now you have a 3-wave structure. So I was looking at a long in this area, and while price was moving up here, I was like, okay, if we take the low again, I'm going to be looking for a short over here. And that's what happened. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then price pumped here to the upside. I jumped into the short, and I literally had my stop loss here just above the 0.88. You know, kept it tight, protected my position, and now we're getting a little bit of dumpy action here to the downside. But no, you know, guys, if I get stopped out, it's a free trade. I'll get stopped out at break even. But just from an education perspective, to show you how I do jump into trades. Okay, right. Yeah, me stuffing around on the 1 minute time frame, okay, can't be good, right? Can't be good. Let me go through some comments, see what you guys are saying. Okay. Right. Can I ask you politely to check AR? You guys want to look at altcoins, okay? Scorn, I don't know if I should look at altcoins. Maybe I can, but I do know as soon as I open up an altcoin chart, the people jump off the YouTube stream. People, you know, they want to look here at the price of Bitcoin. So let's see. Okay, if I get more requests for the same altcoin, then I'll have a look at it. But I don't want to look at an altcoin and then people get bored and they just jump off the live stream. Okay, I feel safest in Goblin Town. Look kind of like a triangle on the 5 minute. A triangle, yes, or a bear flag. Could be a bear flag. Right, let's see. It also looks like a diamond pattern, guys. A reversal pattern. It also looks like a diamond pattern forming over here. Okay, and now it's gonna get the bounce. A reversal pattern. Also looks, but you know, the high volume in the middle that you get in the middle, and now, you know, it also looks like a diamond pattern. But I mean, I don't trade diamond patterns. They have very low probability of playing out. Then you could also say, well, you know, what about this? Okay, there's your little flaggy that's forming over there. Is it going to break up? Is it going to break down? Okay, from a CVD perspective, let's see if we can spot some weakness or strength. That it still looks weak. I don't see any bully CVD locally. Okay, yeah, it's a difficult range. It really is a difficult range. And you know, guys, I don't mind getting stopped out from this short that I took over here. I really don't mind getting stopped out, because this is why I like to jump into trade and protect my position. Because when you have a free trade, you can just relax. Okay, doesn't matter what price does. If it hits my TP here, because I'm planning to take profits here by this low, then great. If it doesn't, then, you know, I get stopped out with no loss. It's a free trade. Get off the 1 minute chart. Could you tell me that usual in accumulation phase 1 day time frame, or it's just a date? Could you tell me that usual? Oh, is that an altcoin? You guys are really AR. Right, you guys are really okay. Rad, I can see that you really want AR, okay, but I need other people to also ask for, oh, there we go, Satoshi, AR, Theta, you guys want to know about Theta, Okay, if I get another request from someone else from AR, I will definitely check it out. Okay, I want to check out things that everyone wants to have a look at, not just one person, because then everyone else jumps off the live stream. Okay, but legends, that is basically what I see here on the price of Bitcoin at the moment. Okay, please no altcoins, you see. Please no altcoins. Right, guys, I hope you guys don't jump off the live stream. Okay, smash up that like. Let's quickly have a look at AR, like for 2 minutes. Let's quickly, because I see there's now a couple of people asking for AR over here. Right, so let me open up this little chart over here and let's go and look at AR. There we go. 4-hour time frame, guys. I'm not going to do smaller time frame analysis over here. Okay, 4-hour looks beautiful. Actually, it looks like the structure is correcting itself. Okay, so on the 4-hour time frame, you can see, let me just open up some tabs. Okay, take that out the way. Yeah, I remember analyzing this little structure, and I told everyone I'm a little bit concerned because it looks like AR already had 5 waves to the upside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like it's due for a larger corrective structure. Well, be careful what you wish for. You might just get it. Now we're getting the larger corrective structure. I just want to see from a timing perspective. You take a time flip from the low to the high. Okay, this low, nice, is now at least after the minimum requirement. Okay, it's after the minimum requirement, right? There's your trend that you need to track. So let's just keep it simple, guys. You're waiting for the break of that trend, right? Let's just keep it simple. You're waiting for the break of that trend. There's a high chance that if AR breaks this trend, that it's at least going to claim that high again, okay? Because you already have a corrective structure that finished after the minimum requirement. I can see the 5 waves, and you want the structure to remain bullish by creating a higher low and continuing to the upside. So that is what I see here on the smaller time frames. 4-hour, well, not really small, but the 4-hour time frame. There's been many breakouts along the way. Okay, right, this is one of the breakouts that I tracked. Beautiful breakout, another breakout, beautiful breakout, and now this is the next one. Okay, before we get to the main show, right? The main show is going to be this breakout over here. This is going to be the main show, the main event, right? So if this structure can remain bullish, we do have 5 waves to the upside. Beautiful. Okay, you want it to make a higher low and come and smash the big trend over here. But it would be nice to get an entry here so that you don't have to worry about this breakout. And then you can already have, by the time it gets to that trend, you can have a free trade to the upside. Right, so there is your technical analysis on AR. Right, let me get off the smaller time frames over here, but I do want to put an alarm to take some profits. I forgot to set the TP. Okay, I'm going to take profits when my alarm goes off. I know it could continue here to the downside. Don't care, right? It's a successful trade in the bag. Okay. Bro, your shitcoin ain't ever going to pump. Oh, you think my shitcoin ain't ever going to pump? Well, it is what it is, right? I do have an exit strategy, and I will still make money with my exit strategy. Okay, I do like the higher time frame technical analysis as well, right? But I do have not just AR in my portfolio. I do have Doge, Link, Ethereum, which I bought at much lower levels. Right, could you explain what alt season status we are in or could come in the short-term future? Right, that is not an easy question. I mean, it all has to do, at the end of the day, it all has to do with dominance, okay? Bitcoin dominance. And as long as dominance is pumping to the upside, we're not going to see an altcoin season as such, right? We need dominance to start breaking down. So let me just see what dominance is doing over here. Okay, we still have a lower high. We still have a lower high. We still have a lower high. We have lost the trend. Okay, I mean, this is the only hope that we can see here on Bitcoin dominance. To get a little bit of an altcoin party, what we would like to see, okay, is for dominance to make a lower high, and start rolling over. It's already lost the trend. You can see the momentum here to the upside. It's already lost the trend, and it's perfectly fine to retest the trend and then continue here to the downside. So this little move here to the downside, okay, could be really great for a little bit of an alt relief rally back to the upside. But you know, you need to form a lower high, because as soon as you're going to get acceptance back inside of this trend, I mean, you're going to see some strength here and a rampage back to the upside. So you want dominance to start rolling over where it is at the moment. And only once dominance falls, we know, okay, that little crash over there, yeah, we had a nice little altcoin rally, especially from Ethereum. Ethereum did really well during that little dump to the downside. Okay, I am positioned a little bit lower down on Ethereum. I'm still in profits. What can I say, right? What can I say? Here on the 4-hour time frame, let's go. Yeah, this little structure here to the upside, I'm positioned a little bit lower down. Okay, the structure here to the upside still looks bullish. Okay, worst case scenarios, you make a lower high, a higher low, and you continue momentum to the upside. I am positioned a little bit lower, so I'm very happy with my Ethereum entry. And like I've said during many live streams, I still have limit orders below this low. Spot. Okay, I'm not trading. It's no leverage trades. There's no 100x or 10x positions over here. I still have a limit order below the lows. A big limit order below the lows, because we didn't tap the 0.618 yet. Okay, I would like price to tap the 0.618. I think it was on the lock scale. There we go. This is where I have my limit orders, ladies and gentlemen. I can only tell you what I do. Okay, I can't tell you what to do. So this is just for entertainment purposes. But I was hoping for this. When price was starting to fall down here, I was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. 0.618, I'm ready. And then we literally turned around before we... And then I built a position in the zone over here, because I think I bought over here, and the lower we went, the more aggressive I went with my buying, and a massive limit order over here, which got front run. But at least I am in a position, because this structure at the moment does look bullish, and there's a high chance that if it does start falling down from here, it's going to create a higher low and continue momentum and still front run the zone that I wanted to tap. But if it does tap the low, so be it. Then I'll fill my limit order. Remember guys, this is a spot position for me, and I intend on keeping this position open for a very long time. Okay, it's not a swing trade, not a leverage trade. Right, is price falling? I haven't heard my alarm yet. No, still consolidating inside of this range. Okay. I hold way too many altcoins on spot. Let's do a poll. Okay, well, let's do a poll. How much time do we have? Over an hour. Okay, let's do a poll. Let's do a quick poll over here. Where is the poll option? Oh, it's here at the bottom. Okay, start poll. Should I take a look at some alts? Yes, no. Start poll. Let's see. Let's see. The voting starts now. Let's see, guys. Do you want me to look at some alts? Right? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. Wow, you guys want me to look at alts? Yes or no? 63... 16, 59, 58. Okay, right, I'm gonna give it another minute, let that poll run, and see if you guys want me to look at alts. Okay, one alt that I do not mind looking at is Ethereum. Okay, I have gone through Ethereum many times. Another alt I don't mind looking at is Link. Another alt is Dogecoin. And you might be asking yourself, why are you so selective with the altcoins that you want to look at? Because technically, from a macro structure, they look incredible. They look absolutely incredible. Okay, if you want to ask me to look at an altcoin that got launched a couple of months ago, okay, I'm most probably going to give it one look and close the chart. Because if there's no technicals to analyze, then you are buying based on fundamentals. There's no technicals that tells you whether there's strength or weakness in the token, especially if it only got launched a couple of months ago. Okay. Right. 51%. Oh, okay. Half. Yeah, you guys are battling over here. Half. 51% of you want me to look at altcoins, and 49% of you only want me to look at Bitcoin. Okay, XRP looks like XRP is the system's coin. The only alt worth looking at the moment is Boing McCart. What? Boing McCart. I don't know what that is, right? Satoshi, I know you want to look at Theta. Brett, I actually do have a bag of Brett. Small bag, nothing significant. My Doge bag is way larger, right? People are just gonna ask you to TA random shit alts. Yes, I mean, guys, you know, right? If an altcoin doesn't have a lot of technical data behind it, okay, there's nothing for me to. I'm a technical analyst. I trade based on technical analysis. The reason I like Link, the reason I like ETH, the reason I like Doge, the reason I like ICP, the reason I like Link, one of my favorites. Okay, Link is one of my favorites at the moment because it reminds me of XRP. It's in exactly the same structure as XRP was a good couple of months ago. Right, so technically, I love them. Filecoin is same as AR, also in the filing domain. Just be patient. Jerome, when retire. Chain Link please. Right, let's go and have a look at Link. I don't mind looking at Link because I do have a large bag of Link. Okay, so okay, guys, I know it looks like an absolute mess over here. Okay, but you guys can see how seriously I'm taking Link over here. I've been analyzing, I've analyzed the structure since 2019. I've been looking at Link, where you have formed a wave 1, right? This is how juicy Link looks to me. From a technical perspective, you have a wave 1. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a macro wave 1 since 2019. It came down. Do you guys remember the bear market where Link just went sideways? Do you guys remember this? Where Link just went sideways? Beautiful accumulation zone. Well, that was a wave 2, right? Your 3-wave structure in a wave 2 here to the downside. And then we all know what happened after this line over here with Link, okay? It started building. The reason I like Link so much is because its structures are extremely simple. It just makes so much sense. A lot of people will say, well, it's a boring altcoin to trade. Well, technically, it's absolutely stunning. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You formed a wave 1. WXY to the downside. Wave 2. Most importantly, you created a higher low, right? You have an impulse. You have a 3-wave corrective structure. Okay, just to show everyone over here. Okay, look at this beautiful 3-wave structure. You have 1, 2, 3. Where's 4? Where's 5? There's no 4 and 5. It's a 3-wave structure. After a 3-wave structure, you get another impulse. Okay, and now again 1, 2, 3. In a wave C, ABC, it hit C wave targets here to the downside. Already did all the measurements, everything checks out, so I'm very happy with the technical analysis. There's always a bearish case scenario as well. Okay, but Link is one of those tokens that I plan to hold for a very long time. It's not a get in, get out, and then no. Link is like a 10-year, 20-year plan for me. Okay, so now potentially you have formed a 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, as long as this low holds, you have a 5-wave structure here to the upside. Okay, I'm now looking for the macro 3, the big 3 over here. Okay, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know it looks like a mess. Okay, I can clean it up, but I want to show you what I'm looking at from a technical perspective. While Link was falling here to the downside, I told everyone, if it can hold this low, this is why I have the red line here. If it can hold this low, this is going to be incredibly bullish. As long as it can hold this red line, okay, it's going to be incredibly bullish. And then it also had this beautiful trend that it's just been respecting so beautifully, just bouncing on this trend every single time. And that's exactly where it bounced. Okay, because now if you have a 1, 2, 1, 2, what do you expect next after a double 1, 2? 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Okay, it could get crazy. It could go to $100. People, you know, say I'm smoking my socks when I say, well, there is potential for a $100 link. Okay, conservatively, $40 conservatively. Okay, depending on which scale you use to do your technical analysis. Right, because from a linear scale, you take a trend-based FIB from the low to the high to the low. Okay, and this is my conservative target. $47. That's my conservative target for links. For link, definitely an area where I'm going to take profits. I don't care if it goes to $100. We don't know if link is going to go to $100. Okay, but I'm definitely planning to take profits over here. Okay, right. So structurally, it looks good, right? I just want to see the local structure here on the 1 hour time frame. What is cooking over here? Just wait for that to load up. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It must be a diagonal of some sort, unless this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This could still be part of the corrective structure. Let's take a time fib from the low to the high. Is it time? Okay, at least this corrective structure is already past my minimum requirement. It's approaching the 0.618. This could be an A, B, C, and then it breaks out. We don't know. Okay, it also looks like, you know, dominance wants to start falling. If dominance can make that lower high, that's going to be amazing. I just want to measure out this structure here. Okay, from the high to the low to the high. 1.236. Pay attention to 1.236. Okay, worst case scenario 1.618. But in this zone is where I expect link to bounce. Okay, you already have an A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it could potentially turn around. Just something that could happen over here. So that's basically the quick and dirty technical analysis here on the price of link. Impulse, correction, continuation. That is the bullish count. Maximum target that I would like to see is obviously, you know, from a $12 maximum target is what I would like to see. If things get really nasty to the downside, you should all know the 786. Okay, everyone should know the 786. You take a fib from the low to the high, 786. It's around about the $12 mark anyways. Okay, this is the level that needs to hold for the bulls. Okay, right. There's definitely a chance that it can find support here in the golden pocket, but this is the zone. This is the zone where you need to pay attention. If you've missed this, all the way here to the upside, well, the next opportunity is arriving soon. Okay. Right. What is Bitcoin doing here on the smaller time frame? Let's see. Is it going to break here to the upside? Is the bull flaggy going to break to the upside? That is the question. Do we see some weakness over here? Remember, guys, to smash up that like button. And what is CVD doing? Let's see. Oof, bearish CVD, right? It's not what you want to see if you want to play along to the upside. Local bearish CVD building up, but it's only one confirmation. I like to see at least a double confirmation. Okay. Right. Legends, remember, down in the description, here are the exchanges that I use to trade. This is where you get the biggest deposit, bonuses, and lowest trading fees only by using the link down in the description. Also your way to support the channel. Right. Dewald, what's your thoughts on Theta? I think Theta has already started its deeper correction to the downside. I was waiting for that fifth wave, if you guys remember correctly. We didn't get it. Very frustrating. I got stopped out of the Theta trade. At least I paid myself a little bit to the upside, but I will maybe on Fridays. I think people really like to I like to use Fridays to deep dive into many altcoins, like 20-30 altcoins. Okay, so maybe on Friday we can go through a lot more altcoins. Okay, Dewald, does BTC gold chart hold any significance? Not for me. Not for me. I used to be a Jack. I can tell you now, I used to be a technical trader that I was watching the DXY, I was watching the S&P 500, I was watching the NASDAQ, I was watching all of these charts in order to make a trading decision on Bitcoin. What is the DXY doing? What is the NASDAQ doing? Should I long? Should I short? Okay, do I see strength? Do I see weakness in the other charts? And I ended up in a situation where it was just analysis. I fell into analysis paralysis. And then I was lucky enough to meet face-to-face, to meet a very, very, very successful trader. And the best advice that trader gave me is to say, Dewald, focus on the goddamn chart in front of you. Do not look at anything else. Focus on the chart in front of you. Have your technical analysis, have your levels marked out. If you are planning to long over here, execute your trade with good risk management. If you are planning to short over here or to short over here, the local top, okay, beautiful, SFP. There's no other chart that would have shown you that you need to short over here except Bitcoin. So the best trading advice that really turned my trading career around was to analyze the chart and trade the chart in front of you. Don't worry about the rest. Okay, it's interesting to look at it from a macro perspective. On the weekly or the daily time frame, is there a 5-way structure on the DXY to the downside? Is there a 3-way? It's interesting to see those type of things. But since I've only focused on the chart in front of me, okay, it really has helped a lot with my trading. Right, so when you ask the question, does it carry significance for me? No. Not for me. Yes, Mr. Pac-Man, don't overcomplicate your analysis, right? And it's the same thing with indicators. Why do I not have any indicators on my chart? Because you can have analysis paralysis. You could have indicators that contradict each other. I'm not saying indicators don't work. All I'm saying is if you have too many indicators, the one tells you to long, the one is showing weakness, the one is showing strength, and then you sit there and you're like, fuck, do I long or do I short? I don't know. Okay, learn to trade the price action. If you can learn to trade the price action, beautiful, right? Okay, legends, I have unfortunately run out of time. Remember to smash up that like button. The links for the exchanges, remember, always down in the description. I will use Friday to do a deep dive into some of our favorite altcoins. We'll take a lot of requests here on the live stream as well. We will look at Doge, we will look at Theta, we will look at, whatever you guys want to look at. We will look at all those altcoins. Hopefully it has some technicals behind it, so I have something to analyze. Just remember, guys, that if you are buying an altcoin that's recently been launched within the last 3 or 6 months, there's nothing for me to analyze from a technical perspective. You are then buying based on fundamentals. And if you are buying one of those tokens and you haven't done your research, you are gambling. Okay, you are gambling, right? Cool, legends, have yourselves an amazing day. Until the next one, cheers for now.